Beyond economics, our people were shaped by enduring values which are integrity, diligence, respect for authority, communal responsibility, and moral restraint. These values became the invisible foundation upon which social order and governance rested. Education, even in those early years, was recognized as the most powerful tool of transformation. Mission schools, teacher training colleges, and community-driven learning centers produced generations of professionals, administrators, scholars, and leaders who served not only Ondo State, but Nigeria and the global community with distinction. 50 years on, Ondo State stands transformed, not without challenges, but with remarkable progress and renewed confidence. Our economy is steadily transitioning from primary production to value addition and industrial processing. Flagship initiatives such as the Sunshine Free Trade Zone, the Golden Ceramics Industrial Plant, and the ethanol and methanol plant in Ore, the Ondo Deep Sea Port, refinery to produce 500,000 barrels per day, and others underscore our commitment to job creation, investors' confidence, and industrial diversification. Tourism is also being deliberately repositioned as a growth driver through the development of our coastline, ecotourism assets, and the rich cultural heritage, creating new opportunities for local enterprise and community participation. We continue to invest deliberately in education, skills acquisition, and youth empowerment, fully recognizing that human capital remains our most strategic asset. Scholarships, vocational training programs, digital literacy initiatives, and innovation hubs are being deployed to prepare our young people for an increasingly competitive global economy. In the area of infrastructure and connectivity, strategic investment in roads, bridges, transport corridors, energy, and water infrastructure, including the new Oyanrugulem-Irese Bridge, are enhancing mobility, trade, and social integration across both urban and rural community. Our hitherto narrow, or if you like, single-lane roads are being dualized for ease of movement and free flow of traffic. The story of Ondo State will be incomplete without its people, both at home and in diaspora. Development is not the exclusive responsibility of government. It is collective and collaborative. Our citizens must continue to contribute through entrepreneurship, innovation, community service, and civic engagement, while our diaspora should bring invaluable skills, capital networks, and global perspectives. Engaging the Ondo diaspora is therefore not optional. It is strategic and imperative for accelerated development, knowledge transfer, and global competitiveness. As we look ahead to the next 30, 40, 50 years, our vision is bold, inclusive, and ethically anchored. We envision an Ondo State where economic prosperity is broad-based and sustainable, where education produces innovators, ethical leaders, and problem solvers, where infrastructure supports growth, inclusion, and environmental stewardship, where governance remains responsive, transparent, and accountable, and where social cohesion is strengthened by shared values and civic pride. This future will be driven by economic diversification, technology and innovation, human capital development, and strong institutions being some of the thematic areas that our distinguished guest lecturers and keynote speaker is to illuminate. It is therefore our expectation that this lecture will transcend academic discourse. It must inspire action, partnership, and accountability. Together, we must harness our natural and human resources responsibly, invest deliberately in our youth, preserve our moral and cultural foundations, and build enduring partnerships across government, the private sector, civil society, and global community. Finally, Ondo State at 50 stands as a testament to vision, resilience, and shared sacrifice. Yesterday offers lessons. Today demands diligence. Imagination. As we reflect, learn, and plan, we hope that this lecture will ignite knowledge-based policy making. The next 20, 30, 40, 50 years will surpass the last impact, equity, and inclusiveness. Once again, I welcome you all and sincerely thank our illustrious chairman, keynote speaker, and the distinguished guest lecturer, and the audience, all of you, and those who are watching live, for honoring us with your presence. May God bless Ondo State. May God bless its people and institutions, and may God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Thank you.
The chairman of the public lecture. It gives me great joy and delight. I'm so privileged to read out the 2022. He was the president of the Nigerian Bar Association, and in 2003, he was appointed the vice president of the Pan-African Lawyers Union. In January 2007, he became a life bencher appointed by the Nigerian body of benchers. He is a legal luminary with a penchant for integrity and professional excellence. His legal practice cuts across diverse areas of law. He is the current Pro-Chancellor and Chairman of the Governing Council of the University of Lagos. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, with a warm applause this afternoon, join me to welcome Chief Olanipeku, OFR, CFR, SAN, as he delivers the opening remark as the chairman of Ondo at 50's public lecture. Let's keep clapping for this legend.
Upon recognizing my brother and friend, Dr. Olusegun Abayomi Mimiko, there's something mystical about him. And I want you, my governor, to tap from him. Of all the civilian governors of Ondo State, he is the only one living. It is by grace. God is with him. And I think he's the only one. I think somebody else mentioned it. We served together as commissioners in the administration of Governor Olumilua. He was commissioner for health. He came back to serve as commissioner for health in the administration of Governor Adiforati. Thereafter, as secretary of government in the administration of Governor Agagu. Thereafter, as minister of housing under Obasanjo. Thereafter, as governor 2 terms. They call him Iroko, but I would say that he is a living legend. I have so many people who are here this afternoon, but you have been duly recognized. But I cannot also but mention my Egbon, Chief Sinde Arugbofa. Please, are you here? Take a bow. This is the essence of this gathering. And Kabiyesi Mokiriade. Now, I want to appreciate my Lord, that's my constituency, the Chief Judge of Ondo State. I pay my respect. The President of the Customary Court of Appeal, I pay my respect. And all their lordships who are here. I would not know whether Justice Adebusoye is around, because I said something about you in my remarks. You know, I will always come to you because we were together at the Ministry of Justice. So I want to appreciate Mr. Governor for this opportunity afforded me to share this occasion. I do not take it for granted. And I wouldn't know, I would not say that it's been accidental. Perhaps it has been deliberate on your part. You've been a gentleman after my heart since the time you were deputy governor. And we thank God for a time like this, that you are here at 50, we are celebrating 50, and somebody is here as governor. We human beings don't appreciate at times what God does. He moves in very mysterious ways, his wonders to perform. Why a Lucky, who was there, born 11 years at the time when Ondo State was created, and now sitting here as governor, as the sheriff, when we are celebrating 50 years. It's also not accidental. And God is also giving you a charge that when you take the first step of faith in the journey to the next 50 years, look unto him as the author and finisher of your journey. Because it's not by you knowing everything that you are here. It's been written that once has God spoken, twice have we heard that all powers belongeth unto him. So it is God's choice, deliberate, intentional, not accidental, that has made you the governor now. I'm not going to preempt what my Aburo, the very erudite scholar, is going to say about it in his lecture. But then, when we are talking of 50 years, a lot of us don't bother about our history. We don't bother about our yesterday. So, that's why let me put a word or two down, maybe to reawaken a recollection. Yesterday to say, oh, was Ondo State, did it come as an accident? There is nothing accidental. And the letter written to me by my Aburo, Dr. Fashionati, who said, you gave some reasons in your paragraph 4, why you have chosen me, why you have invited me to be here. And by that token, let me say a word. I don't want to be just here as a ceremonial chairman, but I won't inch into the place of the guest speaker. I will not at all. I won't encroach into your space. Perhaps what I will say even might be of benefit to you. Now, I say we should honor the pathfinders and patrons who are the architects of the state creation. There was a movement chaired by Chief Gilbert, Benjamin Akinyemi, Akinyede, CON, a quintessential legal practitioner from Ode Ekiti, who served as chairman of the movement. I refer to Prince Deji Adogoroye, my uncle from Ikere, the senior brother of Governor Olumilua. They came from the same womb, but not from the same father. Olumilua Adegoroye was born in Akure, a prince of Akure, a legal practitioner, very astute one. Olumilua was born in Ikere. There is this my Egbon, Sende Arugofa, a consummate interventionist who served as publicity secretary. Other notable members of the movement were the renowned and highly respected educationist Papa Ruben Fashionati, the seasoned politician, celebrated administrator Chief G.A. Akindeko from Idori, the first Nigerian registrar of the University of Ibadan, who later became a legal practitioner, Nathaniel Adamolekun, first class in the genius industrialist, Chief Olufumilayo Julius Anishulowo from Marekiti, and several other eminent Nigerians. Mr. Governor, the essence of digging into the archives for the names of these heroic leaders is for us to honor and celebrate them contemporaneously within the ambience of this golden jubilee, but without their very gallant efforts and signal sacrifices, Ondo State would not have come into being. Olanipeku for the 5th and 6th lines of the first stanza of our former national anthem, we must ensure that the struggles and labors of these past and present heroes of ours, be they from the present day Ondo State or Ekiti State, are never rendered in vain. This, to my mind, is the core essence of history, the deliberate chronicling and preservation of efforts, of exploits, of deeds, of feats, of performances, sacrifices, legacies, heritage, achievements, attainments, landmarks, and milestones, through which a people define their journey, secure their identity, and transit values across generations. Those of us who are Christians, if there were no writings, we won't be talking of Patriarch Abraham, of Isaac and Jacob. By extension, we are talking of those who struggled, who led the struggle for the creation of this state. I wouldn't know what type of honor you want to give them tomorrow, but it's important that we remember them in our collective, in our psyche, and we also pray for them. Let our children know how the state movement came into being and how the struggle festered and how it materialized. The governor said he was in a primary school. We were in the law school then, February 1976. We were migrating from the western state and then to Ondo State. We congratulate ourselves and we say, glory be to God. Now, before I'm done, there's the need for us, for me, to say a word of how Ondo State became or joined the oil league, the League of Oil Producing States. You see, the Yoruba man will say that ẹni bá fẹ́ parọ́, á ní ẹlẹ́rìí òun ti kú, á ló ti wà lọ́run. I was asking for the Honorable Justice Adebusoye whether he was here. And Ojuku, his autobiography said, because I am involved. Mine, I'm talking here on this podium because I was involved. And I have a witness, Dr. Olusegun Mimiko, who was also involved. How did Ondo State become an oil producing state? There is one governor, I'm not saying there was. I'm using present continuous, who served this state, who we are not saying much about. And that's Governor Bamidele Olumilua. I served under him. Mimiko served under him. He had a lot of passion for Ondo State. Shagun, you remember, he would say, this is our own Canaan. This is our own land. And immediately he assumed office as governor of Ondo State. He said he will make sure that Ondo State was listed as an oil-producing state. He gave me a charge. He gave Agagu a charge. He gave Mimiko a charge. He said, go and look for all the data. And he said, Wale, I pleaded with you to come and be my attorney general. I was already an SAA. I was trying to make some money. And he said, please come and serve. And we said, we will serve you, sir. Agagu and Co, Mimiko and Co, they look for all the data. They brought them to my table at the Ministry of Justice. Ajagun Kamalafe was my palm sec. Adebu Soye was my PA. I thank God for you. And you learned that, Kuko. You are now a senior judge in Ondo State. You deserve it. We put hands together. We drafted the Umpada decree. We drafted it in Akure here at the Secretariat. And I want so for those of us who are Yorubas, so that we can learn a lesson or two. I went to Abuja. I met Akpango, the Attorney General of the Federation. I was one of his closest friends. He was before then president of the NBA. He was the first senior SAN who advised me to take the silk. He said, don't mind your age, but mind your intellect. May God bless his soul. I said, sir, my state is oil rich. These are the documents. Very, very certain that we are there. Don't write us off. He said, Wally, we know that. Go and prepare an amendment to the Umpada decree. But in doing so, add Abia and Imo. We are talking about our own Yoruba land. Akpabio was from Anambra State. Assuming, let's now contextualize it. Assuming he was a Yoruba man from Ibadan or from Ogun, will he say, add Ondo and Ekiti? We are so selfish in Yoruba land. We have to love ourselves. And those of our friends who are from Imo and Abia, it was that at that table in the Ministry of Justice that we handed Imo and Abia on the instruction of Akpabio from Anambra State, an Igbo man. And I asked him, I said, Akpango, my Igbo, Imo and Abia are landlocked. He said, well, whether they are landlord or not, put them there. Otherwise, Ondo State will not become an oil-producing state. Now we came back. The edict or the decree was put in place. I accompanied my governor to the Council of State meeting. He presented the decree. Akpango said, the Ondo State Attorney General prepared the edict. Let him come to me. Let him please talk to it. I sat next to Babangida, analyzed the decree, the aims and objectives. He said, look, Wale, just stop. Then he called Dele. He said, Olumilua, your state has become an oil-producing state. That was it. That is the story. No embellishment. I was there. We prepared it. Adebu Soye is still here. Mimiko is still here. But it didn't end there. Babangida stepped aside suddenly in August 1993. As at that time, we were there on paper, but it had not been actualized. Then there was the Shonekan interim government. It was treated as a pariah by every state in the western zone. Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Oshun. Then we had an ESCO meeting. Mimiko, you were one of the hawks. I was like, what are we going to decide? We wanted a pronouncement that Ondo State is now an oil-producing state and that we should be drawing from the funds. It was Shoneka alone who could do that. Those who didn't know, that was the reason why a delegation was sent to Abuja. Go and meet with Shoneka. Nobody wanted you. But Ondo State will allow you a bathing right here in Akure, provided you will come to Akure. You will make an open declaration that henceforth, and as from today, Ondo State will be deriving funds from the federal government as an oil-producing state. Shoneka said, if that is your condition, that's a small thing for me. Will you allow me to come to Akure? We said, we'll allow you. Do your speech. We'll do our own speech. He said we should write for him. We prepared a speech for him. We sent it to him. He accepted it. Gentlemen, we are talking of 50 years. And the government was talking of oil producing. Thank God we are. We are revealing to you, just as you have Revelation, the book of Revelation. That's what we are revealing. Though I'm not in any island. I'm here now. I'm not in Patmos. But here I'm armed at the dome. And Shoneka came, I think very near the Urban's Palace. He announced publicly that Ondo State, you have not only become an oil-producing state, but have now given instruction that henceforth they should be inviting you to the oil-producing state meetings. And then you'll be drawing whatever is due to you. So at the subsequent meeting in Port Harcourt, we didn't have a committee then. Governor said I should go and represent Ondo State. First 500,000 bank draft, I brought it from Port Harcourt to Akure. That's the history. And so when we are also celebrating, let us remember that governor, Olumilua, who brought it about. Even if that was the only thing we can trace to him, it's huge, it's very unique. Now, Mr. Governor, I'm rounding up. I want to thank you, sir, for this opportunity. Name, findable and enduring expression within the nooks and crannies of the state. Can we say amen? Amen. And that will be done in and after your tenure. Mr. Governor, the true meaning of your surname, Ayedatiwa, I want to try to translate it. To me, it means, it means shared prosperity. They don't summon abundance. It was created, we went to Lagos. So, let us, the first saying of Shakespeare, saying that some were born great. You were born as a noble man. Not in the greatness Shakespeare was talking of. Not with the proverbial silver spoon. But you went to Lagos, you sojourned to Lagos. Through there, dint of hard work, you attained the greatness by yourself. Now, by the collective wisdom of our people in Ondo State, let's say thank you.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I think you need to double that applause. I think you need to double that applause. That was not just inspiring, it was thought-provoking, and it definitely set the tone for this public lecture. Congratulations, Mr. Governor. Please, let's have our seat. Miss Olubukola Arowolola Henyen is the Special Advisor on Energy to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, where she leads the design and execution of policynical work stream of the Presidential Power Sector Debt Reduction Public Lecture. Miss Olu.
First Lady, wife of Deputy Governor, former Governor, Governor Echi, Governor Mimiko, Dr. Taiwo Fashionroti, Mr. Ajulo, the chairman of this occasion, the guest lecturer, and to my constituency, Engineer Funshoku Poloku, former GMD of NMPC, the royal fathers, thank you. 50 years ago, on this soil, a dream took root. And on the 3rd of February 1976, the same year I was born, the old western state was transformed into 3 brand new states, one of which was named Ondo, after the existing province of the same name. The 18,165 square kilometers of land carried the hopes and aspirations of 2.7 million people, blending ethnicity, language, religion, and geography, stretching from the shores of the Atlantic northwards into the rainforest, and taking pride in being the place where Yoruba land meets the Benin Kingdom. And we blend into an endearing cultural spectacle. I'm a Donekwe, so I needed to do that. Heritage, Ondo State is a land of great kingdoms. From Akure to Ondo to Owo, to Ilaje, to Ikale, and many more. These kingdoms are eternal heritage, dating back centuries. Long before Ondo State existed in name, our ancestors walked and framed and farmed this blessed land, crowned monarchs, built formidable kingdoms, and raised generations of great people. Today and always, we celebrate that history, our roots, and our strength. We celebrate the founding leaders, the icons of Ondo State. 18 leaders across these 50 years, 11 military administrators, and 7 civilian governors, including the incumbent. Very importantly, we celebrate the people who built this state. The millions of farmers, teachers, artisans, entrepreneurs, civil servants across this state and in the diaspora. The everyday heroes of Ondo State, whose toil and sweat forged a thriving landscape out of very modest beginnings. Many embarked on a homecoming journey from across the western state and beyond, excited by the chance to build a homeland of their own. They built a public service, they built infrastructure, homes, families, and pursued dreams of individual and collective greatness. I'm a proud daughter of Ondo State. From a family deeply shaped by public service across generations. A tradition that mirrors the quiet sacrifice and commitment to state and to community that defines so many families across our state. I grew up in the old Ondo State, in a time when our boundaries were much wider and our sense of belonging was seamless. When a child could spend a week moving between Akure and Ado-Ekiti and feel equally at home in both places. So I therefore acknowledge our shared history with our brothers and sisters in Ekiti State. Not as distant neighbors, but as siblings, as families shaped by roads, shared schools, shared markets, shared memories, a common heritage that continues to bind us in culture, values, memory, before and after our paths formally diverged in 1996. And what is this Ondo State heritage that I speak of? It is our Omoluabi ethic, embodying hard work, integrity, hospitality, creativity, community, and intellectualism. A people who value education, knowledge, and progress, who know the value of home and live in harmony with the rocks, the trees, the hills that dot our landscape. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, like Nigeria, agriculture and oil collectively generate the bulk of Ondo State's gross domestic product as a state. We're the link between the southwest and the south-south geopolitical zones of Nigeria, straddling both not just geographically, but also culturally, bringing together of Yoruba, Ijaw, and Edo origins, united as Ondo people, while retaining the traditions that confer uniqueness upon us. Ondo State has always been ambitious and desirous of progress. State, in reference to the climate, but to meaning. Sunshine represents warmth, energy, life, positivity, and hope. Like the sun and its array of invisible light, Ondo State underpins Nigeria's agricultural and industrial existence. Our vast cocoa field, the Futa Teaching Hospital in Akure, the Federal Teaching Hospital in Akure, the Ondo State Seaport in Araromi. And just last month, the governor received the port's revalidated license. Our cocoa, our timber, our palm oil, our bitumen must not continue to leave Ondo State in its raw form. Value addition, whether that's in chocolate, furniture, processed palm derivatives, petroleum products, and petrochemicals, is how we're going to create jobs, generate revenue, and secure dignity for our people. In my role, I am helping to drive the reforms that are restoring Nigeria's competitiveness, that will attract the capital, not just for its own sake, but that capital leads to the creation of jobs, that it deepens our industrial activity, that it raises incomes for our people, and helps improve the everyday lives. Ondo State, with its gas infrastructure running through it, the revival of Odigbo power plants, modular LNG projects underway, is uniquely positioned to become an energy and an industrial hub. There's simply no reason that Ondo State should know darkness or interruptions at major events like this, and we will fix it. You have our pledge on that. As we mark 50 years of Ondo State, anniversaries must be moments of recommitment. The story of Ondo State is not finished. In truth, it is only entering its most consequential chapter. The generation before us gave us land, all derivation status, institutions, and identity. Our responsibility is to give opportunity, dignity, and a future that our children do not need.
London School of Economics, Yale University, Gordon Institute of Business Science, and Harvard Kennedy School. Oyedele's career spans several key roles in both the private and public sectors. Professor Oyedele is a professor of Babcock University, adjunct faculty at the University of Lagos, and a visiting scholar at the Lagos Business School. He is the founder of Impact Africa Foundation, a non-profit organization focused on social impact and youth empowerment. He is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria, Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, Nigeria Leadership Initiative, and a member of the Global Governing Council of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, ACCA. a member of the Global Tax Forum and Harvard Business Review Advisory Council. His work on regional policy includes serving as the chairman of the West Africa Union of Tax Institutes, high-level think tank on the ECOWAS integration project. He is also the thematic lead for the Fiscal Policy and Planning Commission and chairman of the West Africa Debt Management Roundtable under the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG. He currently serves as the chairman of the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms in Nigeria, as appointed by His Excellency, the President of Nigeria, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR. Please welcome to the Ondo State at 50 public lecture, Professor Taiwo Oyedele. Let's keep clapping for.
Permit me to stand on the existing protocol. All courtesies are duly extended. But if you also permit me, I'd like to specially recognize my Kabiesi, the Akala of Ikaram, Oba Andrew Olamoyi Momodu Osona One, that is here today with his delegates, the good people of Ikaramakoko. So good afternoon. I have some slides, and hopefully they're on the screen to give you some idea of where we are going with this, because it's a very special day. In fact, extraordinarily special. 50 years ago, that's half a century. This period transcends a mere timeline. It's a tapestry woven with monumental achievements, but threads of struggle with collective sacrifice, but unyielding and resilient spirit of the great people of Ondo State. So we are here to celebrate not just time, but 50 years, a collective destiny and direction. Where are we heading in the next 50 years? So let me start by doing a reflection about engineers and public servants who served Nigeria and the world with distinction. The legacy of our forefathers, especially free education policy, lives on in the intellectual DNA of every Omo Ondo State today. Let me tell you a bit more about this legacy of distinction. For 5 decades, Ondo State has been a fertile ground for national excellence, with unwavering distinction across all fields of human endeavor, exporting its finest to shape the political, legal, economic, and cultural landscape of Nigeria and even beyond. This profound influence is etched in the lives of figures like the first civilian governor of the state, Chief Michael Adekunle Ajasin, and his successors, including Chief Adebayo Adefarati, who were pillars of the progressive movements. In the judiciary, legal titans, including the share of this event today, and those like the human rights activists, Gani Fawehinmi, SAN, as a proud son of Ondo State from Ikaramu-Akoko, I recall a moment that cemented my belief in our collective spirit. It was 500 Naira scholarship from my village association 35 years ago. That modest sum helped me register for my final secondary school examination. Without it, it is unlikely that I will be speaking to you today. These anecdotes underscores a powerful truth. Our strength lies in our community. Our willingness to lift each other up in Dore, and the vast, globally significant bitumen reserves, considered as the second largest in the world, we can confidently assert that we are God's favorites amongst equals. Over the past 50 years, Ondo State has witnessed and spearheaded tremendous transformation, setting standard for good governance and human development. Let me give you some examples. When it comes to education and human capital, we have the knowledge advantage. Our commitment to education has been a sacred covenant, moving beyond mere access to unwavering focus on quality delivery and global competitiveness. We have results for these investments. Ondo State indigenes consistently produce some of the nation's best minds, excelling in national examination, technology, arts, and governance, both locally and globally. Ondo State, in case you don't know, is the state with the least poverty in Nigeria. This is data. This is facts. An undisputable indicator of the state's investment in human capital is our performance on socioeconomic metrics. Despite ranking in the bottom 10 states in terms of budget size, Ondo State emerged as the state with the least percentage of its population living in multidimensional poverty in Nigeria. According to the latest, yes, we should clap for that. According to the latest multidimensional poverty index survey by the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, this is not because we are the richest. It is because we care enough to invest in what truly matters to our people: education, health, and most importantly, dignity. There's also development around infrastructure and the economy. We are building a modern economy. Successive administrations have played crucial and strategic roles in building the hard and soft infrastructure necessary for sustained economic growth. From connectivity, we have seen significant improved road networks connecting our agrarian and coastal centers to major market hubs, reducing post-harvest losses and boosting trade. On industrial and resource exploitation, we are now witnessing a focused and deliberate drive towards industrialization built on our inherent competitive advantage. Key among these are the deep sea port projects. This is a game changer, positioning the states as a maritime gateway to West Africa and unlocking immense blue economy potentials. There's bitumen exploration. We are relentlessly pursuing the full and responsible exploitation of our vast bitumen reserves. And there is diversification. Robust activities in aquaculture, timber processing, and large-scale mechanized agriculture are positioning our economy for massive and sustainable non-oil expansion. We have been able to preserve our culture. We remain resilient, and we continue to learn from the past so we can improve on the present and make the future even better. Ondo State is a living testament of rich and vibrant culture. We have successfully leveraged our cultural heritage from Ondo to our festivals, to Igbokoda water regatta, and breathtaking natural landmarks, from the pristine beaches of Ilaje to the ancient caves and hills, to promote high-value tourism, creating direct and indirect jobs. But our journey over 50 years has been far from smooth. We have navigated volatile economic downturns, managed complex internal challenges, reimagined Agenda 2076. Some of us may be here, some of us may be no longer here, but let it be that those that will be around will look back and say some people made the investment. Some people invested their intellectual capital, and they have moved us from good to great and great to extraordinary. As we celebrate this golden jubilee, the most critical task is to pivot our focus decisively from reflection on the past to a calculated strategic projection into the future. The next 50 years hold a clear imperative for Ondo State to assume its rightful position as a leading subnational economy in Nigeria and Africa. Our vision for Ondo State Agenda 2076 must be audacious, our plans meticulous, and our execution disciplined and flawless. Let us develop a multi-stakeholder plan focusing on 5 strategic pathways. 5. We have 5 pathways to the next 50 years. Number 1, a productive and diverse economy for sustainable industrialization. The future of Ondo State lies in value creation, and my sister already said that as well in her keynote address, not dependence. We must move decisively beyond primary economic activities and over-reliance of federation allocation through number 1, maximizing the blue economy through the deep sea port, fishing, and related logistics. Solid minerals value chain, establishing an industrial park around bitumen, limestone, and granite extractions. Agro-industrial revolution, shifting from subsistence farming to large-scale, technology-driven processing of cocoa, cassava, and oil palm. We must pivot from primary sector to secondary and tertiary sectors, transforming cocoa to chocolates, establishing refining capacity, and becoming the mining capital of Nigeria. Diversified growth, robust economic growth that aims to grow faster than the national GDP. Ondo State must grow faster than Nigeria. That's how to stamp your greatness without any disputes. We must achieve key sustainable development goals like no hunger, right? And further reduce poverty. We are already number 1 with the least poverty. We must extend that lead. We must never lose that position until there is no one who is poor again in our states. Ultimately, we must move the state from middle power status to a leading state with an upper income economy. We have too many of our people that are still average citizens. We want them to be upper citizens that have the disposable income and the ability to meet not only their basic needs, but also their wants. Technological innovation and digital economy hub is possible. We must leverage our superior intellectual capital to build a future-proof, knowledge-based economy. How about an idea of a Silicon Coast initiative like the Silicon Valley? Positioning Ondo State as the premier hub for technology and innovation in Africa through focused investment in tech incubation centers and digital skills training. We can also lead with innovation, research, and development, leveraging inventions like those by the Federal University of Technology, Akure FUTA, to stimulate more innovation and positioning our citizens to play a leading role in the new global AI-powered world. Digital governance, implementing comprehensive digital solutions so that we can do all the business we want to do with Ondo State digitally from the comfort of our home. An investment in broadband infrastructure to improve service delivery, transparency, and internally generated revenue. There's also secure lead in taxpayer rights and protection. And guess what? Under the new tax reform law, we have unlocked the policy impediment to how our young people can find work in the digital economy. Ondo State should leverage on this tax reform for remote job opportunity for our youth in the digital economy. We can have a target of not less than 200,000 young people in Ondo State earning thousands of dollars on a monthly basis without leaving these states within the digital economy. That is something we can make happen. The framework has been provided. There's also the fiscal transparency and direction of governance. Beyond implementing the new Tax Reform Act and the State Tax Harmonization Law, Ondo State can introduce a tax accountability report to be sent annually to every taxpayer in the states and develop a holistic state and fiscal policy framework to guide how we spend our money, how we mobilize revenue, and how we manage debts. The Ondo State Internal Revenue Service we place is our most energetic resource. We need to do for our states. They should tell us how they want to implement our collective plans going forward. That is how you achieve consistency. That is how you build irreversible progress. And that is how you become unstoppable. We must govern for generations. We must govern not just for today, but for generations yet unborn, ensuring stable electricity, reducing poverty further, and creating lasting wealth and prosperity. Arts, inspiration, innovation, and unwavering progress for the entire nation and the continent. Like Abraham Lincoln said, the best way to predict the future is to create it. Again, I make a personal commitment. I'm not telling you what to go and do. I'm saying I'll do this with you. As a proud son of Ondo State, I'm offering my support to the government of Ondo State free of charge in working with you to design and implement this transformative fiscal and governance reform. May Ondo State always rise.
With courage, answering the call. Thank you, Ondo State, place of pride and light. When fear ruled the day, you stood to fight. If not for Ondo, where would we be? Who would stand for the soul of Yoruba land free? Thank you, Ondo State, brave and true, 50 years strong. We salute you from the heart of the people. A vision was born to guard the land we love, both night and morn. You named it Amateku, strength of the land, a shield for the helpless, courage in hand. Not for one state only, not for one tongue, but for all the
Fiscal policy and tax reform. Your delivery was so apt, sir. We are indeed grateful. God bless you. Your Excellencies, all of the parts of the protocols are respectfully observed. At this juncture, may I bring back to the microphone the chairman of today's occasion, Chief Wole Olanipeku, OFR, CFR, Senior Advocate of Nigeria, for the review of the lecture. Over to you, sir. Please let's put our hands together once again for Chief Wole Olanipeku. Chief Wole Olanipeku will also take the question and answer session.
Your Excellency, may I on our joint behalf appreciate our daughter and our son. What they have served us has been so sumptuous. We can't pay them. We can only appreciate them. And the only way we can do this, Mr. Governor, and with your permission, while they remain seated, can we be uprising and give them what they deserve? Clap for them, clap for them, clap for them. Thank you, Your Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't know how to summarize. What they have made us to realize this afternoon is that ideas rule the world. Olu, thanks for being a good girl. You were born here. You grew up here. We see the picturesque and the tapestry. Daughter of the soil. Good girl you are representing us well. And my dear professor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and my distinguished friend. Plato said, the time for best effort is when we are young. The time for best effort is when we are young. And when we listen to the distinguished speakers, those of us that are old, we are very proud. Please, can you give them another round? The chairman has said it, now I say it again. But there is one area that was underestimated, Mr. Chairman, sir, and that is the investment in the struggle, the investment of our people in the struggle for the democracy we enjoy today. The investment of our people in the struggle for democracy, that struggle was shared with the current president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. It's important to emphasize this because without that struggle, we will not have had democracy. Now we have mentioned Baba Fashionoti. But it is also essential to recognize the struggle of Dr. Akinola Aguda, Chief Gani Fawehimi, Dr. Frederick Fasheun, Gani Adams, Omoyele Sowore. When I was detained in 1995 in
So lucky Orimi Sayedatiwa. Permit me to stand on the already existing protocol. My name is Honorable Funke Kumuyi. I want to point to something which was not mentioned at all during the course of the lecture. Is about because when we are discussing a thing like this, it is normal that as we are discussing our area of strength, that we have made gains. It is also very pertinent when we mentioned our area of weaknesses, so that possible solutions and possible amendments can be made. Concerning a female gender representation in Ondo State, if we have reflection over it, within the past 50 years, it has not been really good. And I think that the leadership of the government and the leadership of the party, they are here now to look at this situation and make a possible adjustment. For instance, from 1979, but I'm going to speak concerning between the 1999 till date, which we've had this democratic era without the caution of the military. Since that time till now, if we are talking about a House of Representatives, we've only gotten just an appearance of a woman in the National Assembly. And at every election year, we have always been producing 12 members to represent us at the National Assembly, 3 senators and 9 House of Rep members. So if in the overall, we've sent about 80-something people to represent us at the National Assembly, and we only have appearance of a woman, I think that is not too good for us. Even in the north, where Sharia is much granted.
Remisa Ayedatiwa, FCA to the podium. Please, a resounding applause. A resounding applause, please. Right. I'd also like to invite, beginning with the last speaker, our dear father, Chief Wole Olanipeku. Chief Wole Olanipeku. Hello, 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 hello. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Please, could you sit? Could you sit? Hello, 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 hello. Go on. For many years to come, thank you so much for the good work. And of course, now photographs. Can we have the 3 awardees together with the governor, please? Flanking him on both sides. Flanking him on both sides. Thank you. All right. For the vote of thanks, we have the Deputy Chief, the Head of Service, right? The Head of Service, Mr. Bayo Phillips.
On behalf of the organizing committee, I have the privilege to appreciate all of us. Some quiet in the house, please. Each of our arrangement, we thank you, Your Excellency. My respect also and appreciation to our First Lady. Mommy, we thank you. I must also thank the Deputy Governor and Her Excellency, the wife of the Deputy Governor. As I move on quickly to thank our former governor from the lecture and the exposé today, you can see this is the bridge between the old and the new. Thank you, sir, for honoring us. Attention. And I quickly reflect on the provision of the book of Job. Our speaker, please don't mind my order. I think, and from my own perspective, a young man in primary 6 in 1976, we are trophies of God's goodness to Ondo State.